Welcome to the Paranormal Pride. I'm your host, Denise Pridemore, and we're here with my special guest host, Ron Pridemore, my husband, in case you guys didn't know. And we have a special
Her
guest for
favorite
you.
husband.
My favorite husband. So,
Husbands.
no, I don't have husbands.
Oh.
I got a special guest tonight. We're bringing back Cheryl Ann Elliott Fletcher, and she is a friend of ours from up in Nebraska, and we've had her on the show many times, so it's going to be fun reconnecting with her because it's been a little while since we've talked. I think about 6 months. So we're going to find out what's going on with Cheryl Ann. Welcome, Cheryl Ann, to the show. Hey there.
Hey there, you. Hi,
Hey.
Ron. Hi, everybody.
Hello, hey, Susan, Mike,
Hello.
So Cheryl Ann,
and Cheryl.
I'm going to tell you, we have not had a chance to watch your film yet because we don't have a DVD player.
Okay.
So we will watch it.
No,
We're going to take it with us on our trip,
Right.
and maybe
I know
Somebody-
my brother's got one.
somebody's got
Pretty
one.
sure somebody.
Somebody's
Do
got
you
one.
have one in your car? Like, what kind of car do you have? Do you not have a DVD
No.
player?
No,
No,
the MP3s. They don't put CDs in there. Nothing in.
really. Where did?
Do you know something? Then why don't I just why don't I just send you the YouTube link?
Okay.
No, we got my brother and mom. I think they want to. Yeah, there's my mom there. She's probably want to see the movie too.
Yeah. Okay.
I know they got it because the kids took our DVD player when they moved to South Carolina.
Oh, them stinkers.
Well,
That's all right. We
but
told them they could.
they needed
Oh,
it because
yeah.
they didn't have.
At the time, they needed a lot worse than we did.
Yeah, they didn't have internet, and it was one way to
It was
keep the
what,
kids busy.
April.
Back in April, and so how did the distribution go on your film?
Oh, really good. I did like a screening, here in Lincoln, a premiere to it, and it went into a theater called Joyo, and we had quite a bit of people show for that. It was a big deal. We went by limo, we had photographers, we did it up good, especially for the cast. It's one thing when, you've wrote and directed a movie, you kind of like, you're in that background. Like when people go up and get awards, up on the stage when they've hit the big time, it's the directors and the producers and things like that, they get that recognition. But it's really, truly all about the people that made the movie. So when we chose to do that, we wanted to give them the best of the best that we could offer, in Lincoln, Nebraska. We're not Omaha, and we're certainly not Denver. So when it was all said and done, we did the premiere there in an area like it's an old town of Lincoln called Havelock. It's a very old residential area, and the Joyo, the Joyo Theater, Joyo, Joyo. If you ever want to look it up, you'll find that the Joyo is extremely haunted. And I chose that area for the purpose, especially for the, how do I want to say, probably the genre of the movie because it's pretty damn creepy. And I had a gallery session there too as well. And just to give you an idea how haunted the theater is I went out on stage and I was doing my gallery read, and with all the cameramen that were there doing the filming of all this, they all had at one time been able to pan around me and then over to the area where you walk in back behind the screen. And there was an area back there where they had a lot of storage and stuff, and you could go back there and kind of get ready to come out on stage. And all three cameramen that I had hired to do all that did film that area, the walk into it. So you could always see that nobody had gone in there the whole time. So it was on film too. So nobody had ever been in there while I was out on stage doing my thing. But after the show was over, oh my God, me, Mark, and a couple other people went to the back because back in there behind the screen to get my purse, my glasses, and such. And before, when I had went out on stage, they had chairs stacked neatly back in that storage area right behind the big screen. And they had stuff, in boxes and stuff, for theater and things like that. Well, I went back there, and when I walked in, because you'd come out on the stage is here, and then you go back behind to a door that led back behind the screen. So all of that was storage. And when I went to step in that room, I went, oh my God, all of the chairs that were stacked against the wall were everywhere, all over the floors. It was like somebody went in and just threw shit around. It was crazy. You couldn't even walk in, to be blunt. And yet, before, you could walk right in, smooth path, right to everything. But it was in such a mess. And so the owner, we met that evening because I couldn't even find my glasses. I had no idea where my glasses went. I found my purse, and the whole time the gallery was going on, people were hearing things and seeing things move through the theater. So when I did the premiere for the show, I couldn't think of any other place to go except there, and it was well worth it because we had activity at that time as well.
Wow.
Has that building always been the theater?
Yes. In fact, it's been there since like, I want to say, if I look it up, I think the history was like in 20s. It was built in the 20s. So it's got a long-standing history of showing that, before they came out with all the really fancy theaters downtown Lincoln,
Mhm.
that was the place to go. So in next door, it was even more bizarre. It's like next door to that theater is a small building I looked at, looking to do another store. And while there, I talked to the owner. I said, "Who got shot in this building?" Because I saw this woman in the back had went into the back bathroom, and I heard a gunshot. And he said, "Yeah, that she was murdered back then, like in the 30s, in the roaring late 20s, early 30s. There was like some kind of a drug mafia thing going on in there, and she was shot." So that building, the Joyo Theater, the one next door, and the one after that, they're all riddled with stuff.
Wow. So, do you plan on doing another film?
I am, yeah. Um, it's not going to be. I'm starting right now on the book, the second book.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going in that direction first because that's going to take a lot of time to consume me. That to put how I'm going to spin that off from raw into that book because there's so much more that I wasn't able to get into the first book because when you get to like 300 400 pages, even though you have to go through several edits, and then it gets reduced down to 300 and some pages. It's just like, oh my God, okay, I got tired. I
Yeah,
got
I
tired of
bet.
writing. It's like, okay, I'm done. Yeah. So yeah, I am gonna go ahead and start working on that book. There's a few things we've got going on in our family dynamics. And so until those are settled, that I'm just not comfortable sitting down and writing just yet. But yeah, I've got the itch to get going and also on another script. So yeah, for the second part of 1 in 6 billion.
Yep. Hey, Kevin. We see that Karen said hi to you, so we
Yeah.
know you're
Hello,
lurking out
Gary,
there somewhere.
Billy, Mom,
So,
I'm
and
sorry.
Kevin,
yeah.
my cousin.
Mhm.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. Yeah, you met Karen, Ron's
Mhm.
mom.
Yeah.
And
Good.
I don't think you met Crystal. She's out there. So,
Um,
hi, Billy. I hope
no,
that you're doing good.
Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal came the first time.
Yeah, first time.
So, but,
Yeah.
and
Rick Wade. Wow.
Rick
Hey, Rick.
Wade. Hey, Rick.
Fine.
So, we got some very nice people out there listening.
Mhm.
So, so how do you, when you do your gallery readings, how do you, not how do you do them, but how do you get so many people to attend?
Well, I
How
have
do you
been
market it? that's what I mean.
That's
How
what
do
you
you market it so that people like Rick Wade and Chris Garcia and these other people in other areas can maybe learn from you a little bit on how you're marketing?
You know what, Denise? That's pretty amazing that you brought that up. And I'll tell you why. It has not been very long down the road that I had noticed Rick, some of the things he was posting, about himself and, uh, just trying to get people interested in what he does. And at that time, just split second, I'm like, I really need to reach out to him and kind of help him with that marketing skill and help him get a little bit more exposure because I've seen Rick's work and
Mhm.
I've watched him very closely. And I do that with a lot of people that are intuitive or sensitive. Um, because honestly, I know everybody is in certain stages of learning about their gift, because we all go through that aha moment, and then we're
Mhm.
like, now what do we do with it, and now that I know that I have this ability, a trusted ability because of who I associate with and how I market. So when I saw that, I was like, I need to reach out to him. I've been kind of marveling on the idea of going and getting with him and do an event.
A
I've been
tandem event,
a what?
a tandem event,
Yeah, I've been
or
itching.
dueling mediums.
Exactly. Yeah, the dueling mediums. Yeah, I actually have been kind of thinking about doing that because the way I market myself, first of all, the legitimacy is prominent with who I am. I make sure that people know that I have references all over the place, all over the world. People can check on me to kind of validate who I am, is what I'm saying. And with that being said, Denise, what I learned, oh man, this was so crazy. I was sitting there one day. This is when I first got my business going, Extraordinary Connections with Cheryl Ann. When I first launched it, I said, how the heck are people going to really believe me? Because there's so much saturation out there with psychic wannabe psychics. How can I stand out? How can I stand out and make a name for myself, a legitimate name and a respectable name? And I thought, you know what? Because I'm so into law and so into the right thing and integrity, I went to school and I got my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. The reason why I did that was so that when I would go and want to help the police department on anything that was going on that they couldn't figure out, I had that paper to stand behind me that would say, hey, now wait a minute, Cheryl's in criminal justice. Most people in criminal justice are legitimate people and they know what they're talking about. So that piece of paper alone, along with doing a movie, writing books, and putting myself out there in a way that was a legitimate seal stamp on who I am, plus people reading people that are prominent people, and having them post up all of their how they felt about what they received from me, legitimately. And I had a lot of people coming around, with a whole lot of, like references coming up on stage or going up on blog talk shows or radio shows. And that was the other thing. Rick, I wish I could talk to Rick about the fact that he needs to get on like real radio shows, like on air, like I was with Kix 96.9 for like 5 years.
Right.
And, that alone, because I had to do, Denise, the thing about it is, if you can do it spot, on cue, and be able to read somebody, and you can do it over the year, and everybody's hearing you. And I mean to tell you, 70, 80,000 people on the air hearing you. You know, that's another thing. I thought, if I could just sit down with Rick face to face and talk to him about some of the things that I would offer to help him in, I'd do it in a New York minute because, he's a real decent guy.
There you go, Rick. You got
Oh,
some help there.
hi, Rick, wherever you
So,
are.
so reach out to Cheryl Ann, and maybe she can help you get a little bit more marketing, because I know that you really want to get out there a lot more, and you're a good guy, and we like you. We like you a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
So, but
You know what? I just had this crazy idea. I should like invite him into a part in the movie too.
oh well,
Yeah.
I had just had a really good thought of a certain kind of character that he might fit with what I'm looking for. So you never know.
oh yeah, Rick. Like I said, he is one of the nicest guys I've
Mhm.
ever met, and his ability to hear EVPs is amazing.
Mhm.
And he's really, it's really interesting to listen to him read past lives.
Mhm.
I don't know if I believe it, but it's really interesting.
Right. Right.
I'm,
Oh yeah,
I,
definitely.
yeah, I don't know. When it comes right down to it, past lives, I
Mhm.
don't know how you prove it to somebody.
Right, and you see, I've done past life work,
I know you have.
and the only, honest to God, the only way you can prove it is that when a person's laying there and they're in a deep state, because it's kind of not, I don't like to say this because it's really not, but it's almost hypnotic. Um, when they're in that deep state and you're taking down layer after layer, the only one specific person that I had that I was doing was able, I was able to go down three different, what I call layers of life with her. And I was able to identify a specific type of ring, Denise, that she was wearing back way in the 1600s. And I specifically detailed it. I detailed the ring. And when we came back to reality, is what I call it, because she was way far away from me. Um, she described. I asked her. I said, "Do you remember the ring that you had on in 1600s?" And she just looked at me kind of funny. And she said, "Was it like a blue sapphire type ring, silver, with it almost looked Celtic?" And I said, "Yes." And I never said it out loud. Never said that out loud. And she said, "I still have it." Now that blew my freaking mind. Secondly, she brought it over and showed it to me. So that was my only, only past life reading that I've ever done that I mean, it makes me still chilled that I can say that shit was real.
You
And
got
I was,
validation.
that was a, Denise, that was a major validation because ain't nobody that I know has ever been that lucky to have something like that come through layers and that person actually has the ring I described back in the 1600s that that person was wearing at the time. How the hell did that happen?
Who knows? I mean, that's amazing. Somebody had to have told you that information
Yeah,
and
something
how it
told me.
was related to this person. So,
Yeah, yeah, I
and I
see
do
that. Right.
agree.
Uh-huh.
Rick says many of his readings shocked many because of the validation.
Right,
So,
right on. See, that's,
especially with past lives.
yeah.
Like I said, the and it is interesting. And hey, Dan and Donna, glad you're here. Um, family reunion night.
Hey!
My family and Ron's family are here,
Oh,
many of them.
that's really
So
cool.
so when we were talking before the show, we were talking a little bit about Ashmore Estates, because we're going there on the 26th.
Hmm.
And you said that you guys went about 6 months ago.
Yeah, it was early
And
summer, yeah.
yeah, can you tell us what were the circumstances?
Oh my God. I had such a blast. But David Lowry, you know David, right?
Yeah.
He's really, him and I are really good friends. And I hadn't seen him since like Farrar, and that would have been like freaking 8 years, maybe. So
Mhm.
I hollered at him and I said, "Hey, I'm coming up to Illinois." And I said, "You guys better be ready, you and his girlfriend." And so we met before we went to Ashmore for the investigation, and we had dinner together. we had such a flippin' blast. Oh my God. So when we went over there, well, first we went to our hotel, we went to dinner, then we went over there. It was about 7:38. We walked the premises. I always walk the premises so I can feel what's going on. And my my biggest pull to it was the upper third floor.
Hmm.
Or now, if you're looking at it, like here's the picture of it,
Right.
and here's the back door by the truck. I'm
Mhm.
talking upstairs, clear to the back, and that's
Yep.
where I got the
Yep.
biggest pull. And we observed. I'm not gonna tell you everything because I don't want to spoil it, but we did have a lot of activity. I've been using a cat light up bulb for about 10 years now, so we had the cat light up bulbs that were in line, straight line, in that hallway, and we were sitting there, and we had those going off frequently, and we didn't put them too close together because I believe they do somehow affect each other. Just like when you have your phones on, certain things trigger certain things. So we don't ever put them real close together. We put them pretty far apart.
Yeah.
So one would go off, the other would go off, and then the other would go off when we asked for them to walk down the hall and then come back. And that happened. I mean, they just rocked it just like that. Like one would go on, go off, they would walk past the other one, it'd go on, go off. And on the third one, as they were walking down the hall, and then they would come back and do the same thing.
That's a
We
good
had,
idea.
yeah, it worked. We all as investigators are always trying to find really cool things to work. So we have that evidence for everybody to see. Um, and then as far as like down in the safe room is what I call it, where you go in and set up your
Yeah.
set up everything.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have, look, I'm gonna that room is freaking haunted as hell. Um, we're just all sitting in there talking, and all of a sudden, bam, one thing falls over, or something flies off the um the wall. Like they have a big chalkboard and stuff. You write your name. A piece of
Yeah.
chalk went flying. It's just, it was just really crazy, that
Well,
room.
our
Oh
names are
wow.
on that wall.
Hmm.
You,
Everybody's.
yeah, our name
Everybody's.
is over
You
there
look
by
close enough.
Cat Hobson's,
Uh-huh.
and it says the Paranormal Pride, Pride More Paranormal, and
I
Ronnie the
saw
Beast
that.
Preacher.
I saw that, and I'm like, I know this lady.
You better at
Yeah, I
this
know, right?
point.
Yeah.
So,
So, that room is haunted as heck. And when you walk out of that room and you turn to the right and you start
Mhm.
heading down the hall, when I pick up something that isn't good, the behavior wasn't good, I'll get so sick. I just get really sick to my stomach. And so when I turned right to go down there, because everybody makes me go first, which I don't care. So I'm going down the hall and I'm getting really super sick. And I'm thinking, okay, what did I eat? Because I just have to kind of debunk my own self. And I'm like, what did I eat? Could I eat something that made me sick? And all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? The minute I went through to go up those stairs, up the stairs to the second floor, I felt something go right through me. And I knew that that's what was making me sick. It wanted me to turn around and leave. It did not want me to go up those stairs. It was trying to divert me, is what I felt like. It was trying to divert me from going up the stairs. And I'm like, you know what? You're not going to do this to me. Nobody does. I don't care, human or not. You're not going to do this. So I went
mhm.
ahead and went up those stairs, and everybody followed us up. And then there was a light that went on. And, there's no lighting in there. There was some kind of a light thing that kept blinking. We heard a lot of voice. We talked. There were two other people three other people that were together with us, and we all kind of stepped back and went into a different room, and we kind of separated, and we did get a lot of voice. So Denise is active, if that's what you're wondering. It's
Oh,
very
oh, I know it is.
active.
I got attacked
I
there
I
uh,
know you're going
in the
back, but
basement. So yeah, I know it's
that
active.
that basement. Let me say. You remember Farrar, right?
I've
That
never been
basement.
in Farrar.
We did stop by her.
Yeah, we did drive by it.
I thought you stayed there one night.
No,
No.
we couldn't. And now that it's owned by idiots, I don't think we'll ever go.
You know what? That was a fatal mistake for Jim and Nancy, and they know my heart. They know my heart about that. And we did get engaged in a whole lot of conversation about that on Facebook. That
Yeah,
was the
I saw some stuff about it, and it's like I don't know these people from Adam, so but it does seem like it's now a joke.
it's
So
gonna get really ugly.
yeah. Hello in Australia. I hope
Hello,
you
Kelly.
guys are doing great. So
It's not gonna be a good thing for my heart hurts for Jim and Nancy, mainly because of Jackie Carpenter. Jackie Carpenter, that place would have never become a paranormal hotspot if it wasn't for Jackie Carpenter. Jackie
mhm,
Carpenter is the one who started it all. She was
mhm,
the one who went by that school and happened to see a little girl standing up in the upper window of the highest level, third floor. And she went in and talked to Jim and Nancy about this little kid that's roaming in their building, and if they knew that. And they were like, no. She said, well, you have a child roaming in here. So they, of course, naturally, everybody went looking. And while Nancy was going up to second floor, I believe, she encountered the little ghost girl. So she knew right away that this was not just like you and I living. It was obviously a ghost. But
mhm.
Jackie Carpenter, her name, is all over Farrar. It's everywhere. Had Jackie Carpenter not seen that little girl, Jim and Nancy would have just restored the place. Sure, they would have had a lot of activity because they would have started tearing stuff up.
Mhm.
And we all know what happens when you do that.
Yeah.
So they would have eventually learned it. But Jackie Carpenter is the one who really brought all that out. And then Connor and I went in, Connor Bedell and JD. We're all paranormal seekers of Iowa, all of our team. We went in like the second or third time, and that's when I blew everything out of the water about that place. And a lot of what I said about that place, which were children molestation, beatings. Two nurses that were in the facility got raped. One had a baby by a rape. The janitor was the one who really messed the kids up. He was also a pedophile. So they could not release that documentary until they went back to the family members and literally found out if what I was saying was legit, and it was. So, what's really sad about what I'm telling you is all the people that were there prior that had
Mhm.
these tremendously wonderful interviews and or experiences, and the legitimacy of her and the raw, rich stuff that people were getting. It's all gonna be another freaking comedy hour now.
Yeah.
It's turned into a
They're all
Yeah.
going
comedy
to be
bullshit.
over zacking and all that
Yep.
other.
Yeah. So now poor Farrar is gone to shit, is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Well, I know Coyote Chris, it was one of his favorite
Oh,
places. And
oh,
he said,
yeah.
yeah, he said that the tree out there is where a lot of the native energy is
Yeah.
at.
Yep. Do you know that when we were doing, we had like 140 people there at an event, and we went outside because I kept seeing this little boy walking with leg braces, and he kept telling me to come out by this tree. So we went out by the tree, and this was before Chris came on board, and we talked about that and went to that tree after he and what's his name, John Forsyth. What's his name?
Oh,
Wes.
West
Thank you.
Forsyth.
Yeah, and when he came back, and I met them there,
Bye,
uh,
Kevin.
All right,
we
Kevin.
talked. We talked about that. That little boy was part of Farrar, one of the school kids that would go out to that tree and pray. And his part of his family was of Indian origin, so it was a sacred area And even Chris, when he came out there, and Wes, they were like blown away with all the wonderful energy it was in that tree. And I swear to God, if I ever find out, I am going to be so freaking livid if I find out they do any destruction of those trees around that area.
I don't think they will. I think that they're gonna make their money off this film, and then they're gonna turn around and try to sell it.
Oh, probably.
I mean, they're not in it. I mean, they're young.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to deal with the taxes and all the other crap that's related to
Right.
owning that facility.
Right. And when I heard, I saw it all on like the pictures of the people that have taken it over, these young children.
Yeah, there's
Um,
3 of them that own it,
yeah.
but the other people are just their friends.
Yeah. But when I saw that and I'm looking at these kids and I'm like, well, there went everything Jim and Nancy built. Jesus.
Yeah. I remember seeing
JD?
it.
Mm-hmm.
I remembered seeing it on TV when they did when they were talking about these people bought this school and they decided they were going to live there and that they were going to make it into like some apartments downstairs for them.
Yeah.
And that they actually lived on site.
Yeah.
And that right there, the fact is that this building is a home.
Right.
You know, maybe a schoolhouse, but it's a home now. So hopefully these young adults are respectful. I'm doubting that.
Yeah.
But I got a feeling that they're going to wear out their welcome pretty quick and they're going to want to get out of Iowa. I don't know where they're from. I mean, I don't know where this kid Cody is. I think his name is Cody. I don't know where they're from. I haven't watched any of their crap on YouTube, so I don't know anything about them other than apparently they have a demon in their pocket too.
Well, let me tell you something. When I
They're
saw
they're talking about Crystal. They're talking about Farrar Schoolhouse in Iowa.
When I saw these kids, the first thing I thought was, "Oh, you're gonna get so oh yeah, they're gonna get so freaked out about that place." Because let me tell you something. What we learned about all the spirits that are in that building, they don't like being messed with. They do not appreciate people that go in there and try to start trouble. They won't even conversate, or they won't give to you the attention, because if you go in there and act like you're foolish and or you're not there for the right reasons, Denise, they won't give them they're going to end up faking a lot, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Somebody, not me, is going to have to go out and watch their stuff and let me know what they think, because I figure I'm just going to get so pissed off I'm going to turn it off.
Girl, I'm telling you. I'm like, you know what? Like I said, when I saw them, I don't like to get into judgments or anything like that, right? I don't, because I just figure that ignorance will show its ugly head on its own. And that's what you're going to see. The ignorance is going to be rearing itself in an ugly kind of way with these kids. They are going to get the shit scared out of them. They are going to get some stuff that's going to happen to them. But a lot of what's going to happen is what they're going to create to make it happen, so that they get some kind of creepy shit story that really isn't really Farrar.
Right.
Yeah. So, do you believe that there are demons at Farrar Schoolhouse?
Okay, so I want to go here. I love this. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I proved that there was.
Oh, because
On
they're saying that the place is probably they're saying that the place is infested.
Let me tell you the truth. JD has a clip on Paranormal Seekers of Iowa. He does still have some of the clips back when we were investigating back in I think 2017 and 18, where he's filming me in what I call the broiler room, not the boiler, but the broiler, because when you go down in there and if you get on the right level with what's in there, you will instantly get so freaking hot. You'll sweat. You'll just sweat so bad. And yet it's not hot in there. Like we did this in the winter. And we also did it in the summer. But this particular event, we went down, we always do before anybody shows up at these events at the Farrar. And JD and I went into the basement. And we were standing there and I was calling it out. And see, I'm not afraid to do that. And I was saying things like, I'm not here to harm you. I know you're here to harm others, but I'd really like to have you harm me because then I'm going to put it on film so everybody can see that I'm not joking, that we've got something really bad down here. And just as I said that, you can see me in the film lurch forward in pain because down my back it marked me down my back on camera with 3 scrapes clear down my back, and they were not little ones, little tiny scrapes. You know what I mean? These were wide and spaced apart perfectly as if somebody did it like that, all the way down my back, like a J. And while it happened, JD was filming it, the whole thing. So when we went back upstairs into what room only had lighting, he flips up my back on camera and here it is. And I said, you know what, JD? Nothing angel-like driven would ever do that. I said, behaviored, because when you cross over all the shit you've done to people, your behaviors does go with you. So if you come back in the afterlife and you're still unhappy because you have unresolved matter, well, you're gonna be pissy with other people. You're gonna be scratching, kicking, punching, throwing people across the room. But how I knew it was demonic, because it was the horrible stench that went along with it at the time it happened. It wasn't, oh, just a scratch and, oh my God, that hurt. Oh, I'm going to run upstairs and have somebody look at it. No, it was stunk. It stunk when it happened. It stunk when it was going on, and it stunk when we were leaving that room. So we knew
Oh,
it
yeah, I did
wasn't
that.
normal.
No,
It
thank
wasn't
God.
normal. Huh?
Oh, he goes, you haven't had, I haven't had this, the stench.
She's
So,
just been scratched everywhere she's been, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I said, to
but for
make
those of you
somebody,
wondering what we're talking about,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Colby and Sam, and then the young lady over here. They bought the Farrar Schoolhouse, and they're saying a trilogy starting October 20th. Basically, they say we bought a haunted school and lived in it for an entire week.
Big deal.
And after years of trying, we finally have a place of our own. So we were not prepared for the dark energy in that school. Can't wait to show you guys. So I don't know if this is a comedy or a horror or horror comedy.
In my opinion, just hearing that, because I do remember seeing it in writing. In my opinion, that's so juvenile, so immature, so young, so you don't know what the hell you're up against, is where I'm at with it. You don't even know.
So it will.
what's that supposed to be on?
Let me see here.
On YouTube or?
I'm looking.
I'm thinking it was YouTube, Ron. I didn't see it being on like any Netflix or anything like.
Yeah. Hey,
That was
Tom.
YouTube.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not very clear where it's at. So I guess I got to go find out wherever Sam and Colby are hiding and find out, where they're going to be.
He said it's on YouTube.
Oh, it is? It's on YouTube?
I think it's.
Tom
I
knows
think when
enough.
Mom always does.
yeah, check YouTube for those guys, because I thought that's what I saw, is that they were going to go with YouTube on all this, and I was like, oh, whatever, okay.
Yeah, and the same with me, Crystal. I hadn't heard anything about it except that I follow the Farrar page, and when I saw it on there, the first thing I thought of was, oh, mini Zach's.
Right on.
And I more than likely I'm not going to be impressed, but it is what it is. People, they got what, millions of followers, So, needless to say, they're going to make a buttload of
Nancy is
money on it.
still, yeah, exactly. Nancy, and I are still good friends. I think I'm going to try reaching out to her and seeing where they're at with it. I hope, like you hope for anybody, I hope they did their research before they did what they did, by selling it. I'm just like, oh my God, seriously?
Well,
Because JD and I, Denise, in 2019, we looked at the books on Farrar, and JD and I thought about buying it ourselves. But there was just too much mold, asbestos. There was just too much. And to have been able to purchase that place, even though it's a cash cow, we looked at it logically, it would have been so much money.
Yeah, it'd have been a money pit.
Thousands to clean it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're also, if there's asbestos, then you've got,
it's really expensive.
yeah. I mean, anything built before 1970 most
Yeah.
likely has asbestos tiles in it,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
And you as an owner then have a responsibility to get rid of all that and the mold to make it safe for people to be in there.
Right, but there's also that paper you sign too when you go in that is a liability release that you won't,
But you do know that those papers, since they're not notarized,
Exactly, they're not even. They're
they're not even legal.
I know.
They're just, they make people feel, the people who own the place feel like, oh, they can't sue me. Well, yeah, they can.
Oh,
You got a
so-
lawyer. A lawyer will take up on any case. Have you
yeah.
seen lawyers?
Yeah,
They're all crooked.
they're so happy, honey.
Yeah.
It's like really
So,
what? Oh, something about
oh, the advertisement is for
I don't
Sam
know who Sam and Colby
Colby Horror Week. Yeah, that's what we saw.
Who
that.
are they?
They're the people who bought Farrar.
But
They're
that
the,
doesn't, okay,
they're
that
the
doesn't tell. Is it
YouTube,
two guys, a guy and a girl? I don't know
Two
who they are.
guys.
Okay.
and that's all I know. All I know is that they're YouTubers with a huge following, and people
Okay,
think
I've
that
never heard of them.
Yeah, people think that what they're doing is paranormal.
right.
Is
And
it? I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not I probably won't even get engaged with that. I don't feel like it's going to be a legitimate show. Yeah, I think it's going to be more for entertainment, and I just don't.
I
don't
I
know.
don't I don't want to click and make them money.
Right, exactly.
It's not like I'm boycotting anything, because I'm not, because I can tell you how many things I watch on YouTube in a month is probably 4.
Yeah, me too.
I'm serious. I
Me
don't.
too.
Ron, on
Right.
the other hand, maybe.
Uh-huh.
But and Tom, if they were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles doing paranormal investigating, I would watch
It
that.
depends what I'm researching.
Yeah, it depends on what we're researching at the time. But yeah, I can't sit there and I can't focus on.
I haven't even watched nothing.
If somebody came to me and said, Cheryl, I'll pay you to watch this new thing at Farrar for their episodes, I'll pay you to watch it, I'd say, well, do you have a blank check?
Because you got to watch all 3. It's a trilogy, so you have to watch all 3.
It would be, you need to give me a blank check because I don't know that you can pay me enough to watch it. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
But of course, since I'm old school, it's either keep it real or get out of my face. Keep it real or go.
I mean, like we were, we did an investigation this weekend out at Fort Blakely, and we didn't really witness a lot of stuff until later on.
Yeah.
While it was daytime, while the fighting would have been going on during the Civil War battle, when you'd think that you would at least have residuals, right. I don't know if it's because we had too many people or if there was too many campers, there was too much noise, we don't know. But we didn't hear anything. We didn't see anything. We had a 3-year-old that was dragging me through a field telling me that there were ghosts on top of the battlement. I mean, he grabbed my hand, and I had a best friend for the next half an hour. He just dragged me all the way across to show me where he saw a ghost.
Oh.
And
Unfortunately, you couldn't get up on the hill.
yeah, he wanted to
It was
go up on the
only
hill.
place you couldn't go.
And I said, we can't go up there. And I said, for a 3-year-old, this kid was very articulate. Kai.
Yeah.
And
he was
he was all over the
hit of the
place.
party.
He was having a great time. And he was saying, yep, ghost. And I asked him, I said, what color is the ghost's hair? And he goes, brown. And I asked him, I said, does he have a hat on? And he said, no. And then I asked him what color his clothes were, and he just said dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? For a 3-year-old, he described something that, a lot of people can't see.
Right.
And what's funny is that I lost track of him, but I've also felt like if I stayed with him,
Mm-hmm.
that's all he would do the rest of the time is drag me all over the place.
Oh, that's right. Because
yeah.
Denise, he knew you. Well, look, that little guy was very intuitive and very sensitive,
Yeah.
and that's why he grabbed your hand.
Well, the thing is we had to walk 500-600 yards from where we met them to where he wanted to show me the ghost.
Well, honey, he trusted you. He knew you were parallel.
That's what his mom said.
Yeah.
She goes, he's friendly and stuff. And I laughed and I said, well, I'm going to tell you a secret. I said, my grandson, Ruby, we took him to a Christmas parade, and there was a Mrs. Claus, and she was giving out cookies or candy kisses. And she asked Ruby, she said, do you want a cookie or a kiss? And he went in for a kiss.
Oh, dang right.
And I was like, no, Ruby, candy. Do you want candy or a cookie?
Great, actually.
And Kai was the same way. He was, I think
he wasn't shy.
I think he would have went home with me. But he gave me a big hug and a big kiss. And when I had to walk away, and because I told his mom, I said, I'd love to stay with him all night, but I can't. I said, because otherwise that's all he'll do is drag me around.
Yeah, I think they left earlier before it got really dark.
They had to come back because he took home one of them.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Yeah, they went to their campsite at the campground, and he had a proximity meter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he took it with him, and they didn't realize it until they got back to their tent. So they had to come back to bring back the proximity meter.
Nice. Well,
but yeah, it was, and then after that, it got it got darker. It got more active, and we had a lot of skeptics. And by the time it was over, we did not.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that we will be asked to come back. We were with the ghost hunting housewives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were their guests, and
we were helping, but they had 111 people show up.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they had 20 people coming in.
30 maybe.
I asked Carol, I said, how many people you got coming in? This is about a half hour before, and she goes 111. And about that time, it was just car after car. I mean, I said, I don't know where we're going to park them all. But
luckily, it was a battlefield.
Grass along the road.
So with it being a battlefield, everybody could be spread out and you didn't hear anything.
Right.
Have you ever done a battlefield?
I have not done that yet. Well, there's areas here in Lincoln, outside of Lincoln. We have places out in here where there's been a lot of battle. The wagon trails, things like that we have. And come Halloween, I think you know this, but my sisters and I usually get together and we go out to a specific gravesite that's out on Highway 77 in Lincoln, and it kind of goes around a curve, and it's up on a hill. Across the street is where the old wagon train went through. There's so much activity between that place and this particular cemetery. Well, because a lot of people were buried up there too from all that, the battling that went on between the two areas. And so there's a lot that goes on out there. That's where we're heading, for Halloween, probably again this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I have never done a Gettysburg. I want to go there so freaking bad.
We're hoping to go July
To
25th
the
through
bash.
27th to the Battlefield Bash, but not as vendors, as
Peons,
peons. We're gonna.
which I don't know what else we would be, but
I tell people all the time. I said I don't have anything to sell, so I would much rather go and walk around and visit with everybody on my time.
why
Yeah.
would we have a vendor?
And have fun, on your own. I mean, away from what you do,
Not us.
Yeah.
go hobnob and have fun.
Oh yeah, and I told somebody else. I said the biggest reason we're going to Gettysburg, first off, is the people. But the
Yeah.
second one is I want to go back to Friendly's. My first job was at Friendly's Ice Cream.
Oh,
And that's the only one that I know of that still exists. So, and they got half price breakfast during the week
mhm.
and ice cream every day. One of the few places you can get ice cream for breakfast.
Oh, it's not at McDonald's. Don't go there. Their machines are always broke.
Oh, well, this is hand scooped ice cream. That was my job. I was an ice cream scooper when I worked there all those years ago. Hey,
Yeah.
Crystal, we were just talking about you. 126.
Yeah,
So, like I said,
that was a lot.
we had a
wonder-
really good time.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
I wanted to tell you too, I did get into the Sally House. We are gonna go there in May.
Okay.
So I can't wait for that, so.
Well, just let me know what information.
Don't expect too much.
Just
Yeah.
let me know whatever information you need in advance, history wise, and I will tell you whatever history you want to know.
Yeah,
Or,
well,
come to me after.
we'll have to get on the phone and talk because before, after the holidays, it's gonna be getting kind of busy now, October, and then we have November, and then we have Christmas. But yeah, we're not scheduled in until May. We're gonna drive out and go, down there for overnight. And since we're only 2 hours away, it's like no big deal. But yeah, we finally got in, and it'll be me, Cindy, her husband Brian, Mark, myself, and possibly one other person, I think. So
Yeah.
Go to McIntyre Villa. That's really good too.
If you get a chance,
Well,
look at look into that. And then across the street from the Sally House is the
I don't know what it is now.
well,
They sold it.
it's still the Glick Mansion.
okay,
It was the first Democrat governor of the state of Kansas lived in that house. And I'm not going to tell you how many
Too bad he
people,
wasn't the last.
I'm not going to tell you how many people died
Right
there,
on. Uh-huh.
but it has an amazing history all of its own. So if it is still a bed and breakfast, I would check that out.
I will check that out. for
It's
sure.
directly
Straight across.
across the street.
Straight
Can't miss.
across.
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
We
What?
stayed there a bunch of times, and every time we stayed there, the owners would sit down and have breakfast with us, asking us what we saw or what I heard, or tell me about my house.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely. I'm excited to go. We are looking forward to it for sure. I'm gonna try to get to, Sally, and then I'll never go back to Farrar.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to maybe going, maybe to California, to Alcatraz again. I'd like to go
Yeah.
back, with my family next time, because last time I went with a friend of mine, and I don't do well with tours. So I
Yeah.
kind of go off on my own and get my own evidence, which, that was so cool too, because I was standing like, the guy, I can't never remember his name. He was the one that did the messenger for the bird man.
Mhm.
That was so crazy. I just will never forget this story. Just walking past his jail cell and hearing him clear as day say, "Stick her." And I turned around and I said, "You are not going to be sticking me today." And it was on film. I mean, you can hear it clear as day. And that was really good. I thought that was pretty cool. But then I turned around and we were walking, with a bunch of people. And I always lag back behind because I'm doing my own thing. And I look up and here's a perfect apparition standing right in the doorway of a jail cell. And I caught that. We went out onto the rocks and I could hear all the bodies. I could hear and see the bodies that they would throw into the water. And when they say that, they escaped, oh, they sure as hell did. They had a person, the two escapees did in fact have somebody pick them up in the water on the way out. They did get out. They never died.
Yeah, they never found them.
I know, because they had an escape artist help.
Well, either that or they were abducted. I
Yeah.
mean, it is San Francisco. Who knows? But if Alcatraz could be anywhere else but Florida or California, we would go. But because it's California, we're never going.
Right on.
Can't go to California until they figure out government, how to govern.
Right.
But
What's a peppermill called now?
the peppermill is now called the River House again.
Back to the River House.
Yeah.
Back to the River House.
Yeah, go down to the River House there in Atchison. That's really good.
The people who used to own the Sally House, that built the Sally House, they used to have a store that was right below where Amelia Earhart's grandmother's house is.
Oh God, I can't wait to see that. That's one thing I'm really intrigued about seeing. But anyway,
Amelia Earhart's grandparents' house.
Yeah.
Just be aware, Amelia Earhart was not born in Atchison. That is a lie.
Lie.
Yeah. She was born in Wyandotte County.
Right. I know.
I know. It's one of those things that irritates the life out of me when a city lies about their history just to get people to come there.
Right. They're that hard up. Sure.
So, have you seen this new show on HGTV, The Scariest House in America?
Yeah, Mark and I have actually seen some of it. Yeah.
I think it's pretty funny.
So do we. That's going to go places. That's going to be real good as it goes on. I believe 100% that's going to be.
The question is what are these people going to do? They have houses that look, well, some of them are haunted. Some are known to be haunted, like the castle in Brumley.
Yeah.
Right.
They have people rent that place out all the time. Are they going to make it into a nice little cottage and no longer have it be a haunted place where they're making money off of it? Because there's really nothing else in Brumley.
No, I don't think so. I think they're gonna be okay just the way they are.
Do you think that? I mean, the house that wins the $150,000. What do you think will happen?
It's $150,000 makeover.
$150,000 makeover.
I think that's going to happen. I really.
I wonder if it'll be a haunted makeover where it still looks spooky, or if it's going to be normal.
I think it's going to be spooky. Yeah, it'll be.
As a former house rehabber, I did notice the first two they got would take the least amount of work.
Right.
I did notice that.
But
the ones that really needed it, they said, no.
Yeah, the one
that's gonna be $350,000
at least
$400,000
$300 easy.
Well, it's up to. Isn't it up to 150,000 or is it 150,000?
It's at $150,000 makeover.
Yeah.
So we'll find out.
I know. I'm excited.
Oh, there's only 2 more shows left. They got the so we'll see that, and then after that, I guess there'll be the house that gets the makeover.
Right.
We'll get to see that. So
hopefully.
I think she makes the best faces, though.
Yes, I do too.
I mean, she does this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah. You're like, you're what? Yeah. The jailhouse, the house with the jail reminded me of a lot of the different places that we've been to, like the jail up there in Kingston, Missouri.
Uh-huh.
It reminded me of that. They live in the house and then attached to it is a jail. And just like the 1859 jail in Independence, Missouri, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The family lived there. Similar. And that's weird. I mean, even back then, we're going to live here with our children and these criminals are going to be over here.
Yeah. Right.
And then the wife would do the cooking for everybody.
Right. Exactly.
So
I don't know. I don't know that I would agree with that, but okay.
Well, times have changed, and we don't do that anymore.
No,
but
I wouldn't agree with that.
Just turn them loose now.
No, yeah. I wouldn't even agree to it in the afterlife.
No. So
but, I don't believe I can do that. I have to pull out my cookbooks and in the afterlife. I don't know if those go with you or not. So
I saw that you have an event coming up on October 26th.
I do. You know what I do in my own home now? I have decided I'm tired of paying overhead. So I have them in my own home. I have a room here in the house that we purchased that's really perfect for gallery reads. And I can get up to 15 in here comfortable. And, with the home set up the way it is, it's perfect for entertaining. And so I hold them in my own home now, the gallery reads. And then of course I do personal and private readings here too. And I have a space for that that's separate from my home. And it's kind of funny though, because everybody goes, "Oh, you're the traveling gypsy psychic." And I said, "What?" Because in the summer, because people would be here visiting, if somebody just popped in and wanted to read or called me up and said, "Hey, you want to read?" My camper is a really nice camper.
Yeah.
So I leave that plugged in. And then I take people out in my camper and do the reads, and it's private. And it was really funny. This one lady said to me, "You're not going to be one of them traveling psychics, are you? Like stop and read palms and all that stuff like it's a fair." And I went, "Are you
So Cheryl
okay?"
Ann, are you Hungarian?
No,
Okay, then we don't have to worry. You're not a gypsy.
no. But it was just too funny. I looked at her like, there was only one time I encountered somebody like that. It was at the fair here in Nebraska, and I was pregnant. I was 8 months with Robert, our son. And I went in, and Mark's like, "Go to me. Yeah, go do it. Go do it. Go do it." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So I go into this little trailer, and she did palms, right?
Mhm.
And, of course, I don't believe in any of this BS. Well, anyway, so she goes, "Can I have your palm?" So I give her my palm, and I'm like, "Wait a minute." She goes, "What's wrong?" I go, "Just a second." And I reach in my purse and I put hand lotion on, and then I, do this. And I said, "I can't have people reading my palms if I got flaky skin." And
Yeah.
I said, "I think that might throw you off on the reading I'm going to get. So I want to make sure my hands are soft. So my road maps on my hand are visual." And she looked at me kind of funny, and I said, "No, no, you can go ahead and tell me." Well, she started telling me all this stupid shit. Then she said, "And you're going to die." Hold on. She says, "You're going to die at the age of blah, blah, blah." And I stood up and looked at her. I said, "First of all, it's not your job to tell people when they're going to die." I said, "That's Christ's job to bring them home when we're supposed to go." And I said, "And I would really advise you with all my heart and soul, I'd advise you to, hook up this trailer and get the hell out of here." I said, "Because you're no psychic. You're just a wannabe." And I went out. I didn't pay her.
Mhm.
You're supposed to pay. And I just
Hmm.
walked out. And I went and told the police, they're around all the time at a fair, and
Right.
told them, I said, "She's nothing but a lame person." And by the way, the date I was supposed to die, I passed that by a while. And so I'm like, obviously God said, "You're out of your mind, lady."
Oh, yeah. Oh, when you said that, it just made me think of the song with Cher,
Yeah.
you know, and of course, when I think of that, I was like, out of all things, do gypsies really still do that stuff now? Do they still travel? I guess they do it with campers now. They don't do
I
it
guess.
with these unusual looking wagons like they used to back
No,
in the
they had,
70s.
this lady had like one of those little, like I had one time. I think you might have saw my little tiny vintage camper.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, but it's pretty shabby. So you could tell it was just, she was just, yeah,
Uh,
terrible person, terrible. But yeah,
I mean, those are the people that make people think that mediums and psychics are all
like that.
charlatans and fakes.
Yeah. Hmm.
It makes you question not only the validity, but the integrity
Right,
of
right,
of the
right,
field.
right.
So Um,
I think when Tom Duden, my graduating teacher in criminal justice, when I was doing my last presentation for my degree, I did it on psychics and how the legitimacy of them, how they were so prominent back in 1800s that the FBI used us to prove things about things they couldn't figure out. They even did horrific studies on people like myself back in the day, you know, hooking you up to electrodes and all sorts of crap, you know, kind of like burning you at the stake like a witch. And they did all sorts of things, yet they really relied heavily on people that were gifted, truly gifted.
mhm,
And, you know, so I did all this research. It took me 6 weeks to do the Sims class, which is where you study all 4 years of what you've done,
mhm,
and you have to compile it into a presentation to kind of, it's almost like an overview of what you've done.
mhm,
And when I did it on psychics and FBI work and how the CIA used people like myself and others, Tom was really blown away because him being an ex-police officer for 35 years for the Lincoln Police Department, he said there was only one time in all of his career that somebody came forward and was able to tell them some stuff that really helped break into a lead. He said back then, he said the police departments, the reason why they don't like to use people like us is not so much that they don't believe in us, it's they want the credibility. They don't want a person to come in like myself in many things I've done, walk in on a scene and say, this is what happened, this is where it's at, this is this person, this is who did it. When they've been working on a case for 2 weeks or more and the money has been poured into this case through the city, it's just that they don't want people like ourselves to come in on a scene and be able to clean it up just like that when they've been pouring money into it. He said, but you know what, Cheryl? He told me after it was all said and done, he said, it's too bad that the police departments don't utilize you guys more often and put you in a position where you can help out quite a bit. And I said, yeah, it's really too bad. And
yeah,
then,
sooner rather than later.
right. And it's really sad because he said, you know, there are people like the gypsy type people, or like, oh my God, when I was doing this case, oh my God, I don't think I've ever been so frustrated and aggravated with people that like to jump into, you know, talk blog shows, or they get on to these streaming of all this stuff about somebody who's died, you know, like a whole bunch of people get in on a Facebook chat, and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden all these wannabes come in and start saying, oh yeah, he's over there by the tree on the limb on the side of the road up in a water thing, you know, they just start randomly say stuff. And it's these people that really seriously pit
Hurt the
people like
field.
that hurt us, and it's harder for us to come in on a scene and prove ourselves because they've worked with so many whack jobs or they've had so much BS, you
Yeah.
know, thrown at them. And it really is,
And
it's
while you're still on this,
yeah,
Gary wants to know, have you worked on any police cases lately?
not in about 8 months, but it's something he needs something. Where is he?
Oh, he's just asking the question.
Okay, no, there's something. Okay, well, yeah, no, there's something going on there. Anyway, yeah, tell him to message me later.
So, Gary, can you message Cheryl later? So, you
Yes.
met Gary at Malvern Manor.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah, and the reason why I'm saying that, Gary, not so much that it's like right now, but I see it for you. There's something coming down the line for you that is going to involve policemen, police people, but it's not about you. It's something that you're going to know about kind of stuff. So I just want to tell you that.
Well, we'll let Gary, make sure you message her and find
Yeah,
out what's going on, and then you can tell us all.
yay! Yeah, we can get up and share that cool story.
So,
Yeah.
but so your event, are there still seats available for your event on the
Yes,
26th?
I have 5 seats open, and usually, here's what happens, people. I've 15 people I have open chairs for 15. I've got 5. So what happens is when I first put it up, so many will buy, and then a little bit more, and then bam, all at the end. Or I get people messaging me the day of and saying, "Do you have any open seats?" So, I just tell people, look, don't wait. Don't wait, because, you know, you're being called to do this for a reason. If it's on your heart, then step into it and let's go get it. Let's find out what it is.
And what time is the event on the 26th?
It's from 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Standard Time, up until 4. And if you could see my events, I don't know if you ever seen pictures, but I have oh my God, I serve great treats and food and drink, not drink, but that's after if somebody wants a glass of wine. It's never during my event. People do not and will never have any type of alcohol during my event. Until after, if they want to sit down and have a glass of wine, I have wine and other treats. So, I don't believe that people should do that during a reading, because, well, what will happen is it'll mess up their chemical balance in their brain, and it's really hard to read other people at that time. So
Oh yeah, I bet.
it's crazy, but yeah. So the event itself is from 1 until about 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and then um, we will have a little chit chat time together, with everybody afterwards, and we um, get to know everybody. And then what I do too is I always offer people to have a private read if they're uncomfortable, with talking about everything in front of everyone.
Mhm.
Then I say, hey, don't worry about it. We will certainly do it afterwards. We can go off into the room or go somewhere, or we can wait for people to leave, and I'll talk to people one on one. And the really neat area that I have here, I have doors that close
Yeah,
so that people, if they want a private read, I can do it like that. I'll close things off so nobody else can overhear what is being said.
yeah. Do
Yeah.
you encourage people to record your readings with them?
Absolutely. Oh God, yes. Because what's really cool about it is, like, later on down the line, you know, um, what's really cool, I think this is the best part of who I am when I get to do these things for other people. They will look at you funny, when you tell them something. It's like, and I always say, yeah, we'll see what goes on, in a couple of weeks from now. You're gonna be calling me back and saying, that was real. That was true. If they get a little bit of a question in their brain about what I say. But that's why I ask them to record or take notes, because I want to hear back from people, what they thought, not only of the gallery read, but what was told to them, and how it worked for them in their life. And yeah, it's really cool.
Do do you remember, so when you give a reading
Uh-huh.
and somebody records it, you don't, but do you remember what you've told them from time to time, or
Oh
is
yeah.
it just
Yeah.
once you tell it to them, it's out of your head and you don't even think about it anymore?
No, no, that's not true, because what happens is I'm different, I guess, with doing my galleries and all these years of doing this. I don't let people get away without reiterating with them or talking to them a week or two later. And I
Okay.
tell them, look, when you leave here, I hug people. You're part of my family. You're part of this realm that nobody else understands until they've been here and they get it. So we're kind of like a family now. And so I retouch base with them just to make sure they're doing okay, and, have them over coffee, and, if they have any questions, that's when I kind of address things that they want to talk a little bit more about, what we talked about, but more in depth. So
Mhm.
it's not like I just cut them off. That's uncool, man.
Oh
Because
no, I don't mean cut them off.
oh no, you know what I
Basically, what
mean?
I'm
No,
saying is,
I'm saying I'm not like that. I don't just say, okay, it was nice knowing you.
no, in my case, what I'm saying is, once I get a message for somebody and I
Yeah.
give it to them, that message is gone out of my head. I never remember what I've told them.
Really?
It's gone. That's it. And that's fine. It's not my message to keep. It was my
Right.
message to give. And then after that, it's like, okay, that space is freed up now. Now somebody else
Yeah.
can give me a message.
Right.
So
It's
that
like
way I don't have to keep track of what did I just tell somebody.
right, exactly. But no,
Yeah.
I just don't, yeah. I just love people like
Yeah.
that. So I
Yeah.
just love
And see,
doing that.
I can barely remember what I have to do for work today,
Yeah.
much less a message that's not my message to keep.
Right, right. Yeah, mine gets stuck and then it's like I put them in a, like, we have brain files and I file it back. And then when I see that person again, I usually say, how you doing? What we talked about. Oh yeah, comes up and I just kind of, I don't know. It's just part of who I am on that.
So we're coming to the end of the show. We got about no more than 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
So where can everybody find you?
Well, if they drive down the street here,
Surprise!
if they call me on the phone, no. The best way they can get a hold of me seriously would be either through Facebook for Cheryl Ann Fletcher, to message me on that, or they can go up, on Instagram and find me there under Cheryl Ann Fletcher there. Um, I did go ahead and get the blue check mark for my name on Facebook. I had a couple of people say, "Oh, I heard about you, and are you really that person?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm done with this garbage." So I went and got that check mark. But they can also not only find me on Facebook, they can find me on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Pinterest. I've like 5 different platforms, or they can just simply use the phone and call me at 402-217-6334, and or just hit me up on Facebook message and we'll go from there.
Do you still have your website, Extraordinary Connections with Cheryl Ann?
You know what? I don't. So I'm glad you talked to me about that, because I discontinued that because I never had a chance to get on and to utilize it because I'm too damn busy with everything else.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
What do you need a web presence for when you have one in 5 other places?
I know, right? Exactly.
So,
So the
but
good news here, one thing before we end this, is that I do have a booking agent that we're going to be signing on to. So that's one thing I want to talk to Rick about. That's one another level. And then my sister Joni does the management of the galleries and things like that. So a booking agent, yeah, Mark was able to find out that he has a booking agent that he works with. So that will open the doors to many different locations for gallery reads and presentations and things down the road. So that'll work really cool.
well, I'm happy for you. I'm glad to
I
hear
love
that
you.
I know you do. I love you too. And I'm glad to hear that you and Mark are doing so well.
Yeah,
And
we
I
are.
was surprised to see that Elliot fell from your name.
Well,
You know, you're going, it's about damn time.
yeah.
So, and I hope that Mark's mom is still doing well.
She's doing okay. She's every day is a new day and a blessed day because she is 90. So every day that she wakes up and she's ready to get on her bus, her handicap or her handy van and go to her it's like all these different churches for aging partners. She goes to a church and they do bingo and they they have a lot of fun and they eat food and then they send her home.
Oh,
It's
well,
very,
she sounds busier than us.
I'm let me tell you, I had to get her going because there for a while I was getting kind of worried. I said, "You're not going to be a bump on the log and let life just pass you by. You got to get
Yep.
out there and be sociable." So
Yeah, the minute you stop being sociable or having friends, you die.
yeah, you
I
go down
mean,
quick.
it's as simple as that.
And
You know,
her doctor said when she fell and fractured her pelvis about 8 months ago, he said, they said to me, the one thing that is going to keep her alive and get her through all that is staying active in her life with people and motivation. And I got right on that. We got her signed up with Aging Partners, got her going from about 9 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. She actually has a life with other
Good.
people. So,
That's good
yeah.
because, like I said, you don't have that, you're dead.
Yes, you will
And
die.
because
Yep.
all they do is waste away, they're not using their mind.
Nothing.
And
Yeah.
she's busy. She's, like I said, she's busier than half of us that are listening to this right now.
Yeah. Well, heck, like I said, I'm going to do for her, like, I hope it's done for me. So,
Yeah, I'm just glad that she's doing well and that you and Mark are doing well. And hopefully you guys don't see snow before Thanksgiving.
well,
I'm hoping for you anyway.
I'm just gonna, like I said, it was the 18th of October last year. We had a nice issue, and then a week later we had snow for the first dusting.
Yeah.
We had a dusting, and I'm like, that's fine, just dust. You can just keep on dusting, but that's it. No more dusting, no more dust bunnies.
Yeah. I am happy to say that we did not see snow last year at all. And on October 18th, it was probably 85 degrees here.
Holy cow! They're in
It
Florida.
it was, like I said, it was 80 or it was 90 here today.
Yeah,
And we're going to be hitting a cold front, so it's going to be 80 maybe.
yeah.
And in the 60s, I guess, at night. But when we go up to Ashmore, I got a feeling it's going to feel like it's about 30 to, well, it's going to
You
feel
guys
like
better
10
pack
to
up real
us.
good.
Yeah, it's going to feel like
Well,
10 to us, but it's
Honey,
going to be
that's
like
Illinois.
30.
You're gonna be free. You're gonna freezing your fannies off. I'm gonna tell you right now.
yeah, it's gonna be tough because we had a little bit of a cool night on Saturday night out at the fort, and I overheard a lot of people say, "Man, I'm glad I brought my hoodie," and they're putting them on. They said it's getting kind of cool, and I thought, yeah, it is starting to get a little chilly. I just had this shirt like this on. So it's getting a little chilly, and somebody goes, "It's 60. It's down to 65," and I went, "Oh no!"
No, I'm gonna be cold. Oh my
I
god.
went, "Yeah, it's feeling chilly at 65." I went, "Oh crap!"
We're screwed.
Yeah, in a couple
Hey.
weeks at Ashmore, we're gonna be really paying for it.
Hey, Denise and Ron, I want you to meet Joni, my sister, real quick.
Oh, hi, Joni. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. So, how do you keep her in line?
To the moon, Alice.
Oh, I just thought you'd keep her drunk, and maybe that would.
Well, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Some kind of vanilla schnapps or some crap like that. That'd be great.
So I thought you better know who she is. That's Joni. She's the one that's managing my events and helping
The gallery reads.
my galleries and things like that. So
Well,
so
you
keep
definitely
in
need
mind.
help.
Trust me when I tell you, you're right. We're always busy. Oh my god.
Oh, I know you are, and you're always there for everybody else when they need you. So I'd like to say I appreciate that because you're always reaching out and checking on us. And just remember, everybody, when you're looking at a map of Florida and you see Pensacola, that's kind of where we're at. So if the hurricane's not hitting Pensacola, it's probably not hitting us.
Remember,
You know what, though,
Florida
everybody?
is big.
Yeah,
You
Florida's
know what though?
really big.
I'm going to tell your audience right now, no matter where you're at in Florida, I'm still going to jump on that phone or something and I'm going to call you and say, "Are you all right?"
Well, like I said, both hurricanes,
Yeah.
we saw just a little bit of rain at our house.
The one last year was what, hour and a half away from us?
We never saw it.
You didn't even know a hurricane was hitting anywhere.
The one that hit Cedar Key and did a lot of damage.
Although
last
at
year.
the beach you could tell it was
The
had
10-foot
some really
waves.
nice waves coming
Yeah,
in.
10-foot waves.
Other
People
than
were
that,
out-
you wouldn't know.
Yeah, people were out there
Right.
surfing, and the jellyfish were every
Oh.
damn where.
Where is
When a
Lee
hurricane
located
comes in, it brings in
Florida?
jellyfish.
Lee, yeah.
I don't know if they go to the
Mark,
sea.
did you guys interviewed Lee, didn't you, a long time ago?
Yes, that was.
He's
I
down-
interviewed him and you together.
You know what? You need to do that again. He is such a scream. He's in Florida, now. He does brick and mortar He's a teacher. He does a lot of it over the
Lee
internet.
Casey.
Lee, yeah, they interviewed him and I a long time ago when Lee came out with
Mhm.
his book, Jenna's Flaw. But yeah, you guys should holler at Lee sometime on Facebook and get him on. He'd love that.
I'll see if I'm still friends with him.
You bet. Yeah, do.
So, and I just wrote his name down wrong, and I don't know why I did.
Do
It's
you want to
Casey.
be on with him?
Yeah,
Is
that'd
that-
be all right. Or you could just bug him and see, if he
All
wants
right.
to do anything. He is currently writing a new book, so
Oh, so he'd be up for it.
he'd be. Yeah, you might want to hit him
A
up.
little PNR.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, Jody said a little bit of PNR work right there.
Okay, well, I will make
All
sure
right.
I reach out to him. I'd like to thank you so much for coming on, and
Aw.
Joni, thank you for joining in for a few minutes. We really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. And like to ask everybody Monday night at 7 p.m. Central when my guest is going to be Katrina Cooper and another psychic medium that we're friends with. And join us tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Central for Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal. And our guest tomorrow night is going to be Sharon Day. She does movies. She's an actress. She's into the paranormal. She is busy, busy, busy. And I can't wait to talk to her again. I haven't talked to her since about 2018. So we're going to have a lot of catching up to do.
Wow.
So join us tomorrow night right here, wherever you're watching this now. You will be able to see it tomorrow night at 5 o'clock with all of us. Then it would be me, Ron, and Carl, and Sharon Day. So thank you guys for listening to us visit with Cheryl Ann. And just so you guys know, we are such good friends that we just love spending time together. This is kind of like just us talking on the phone.
Yep,
You know,
exactly.
this is how it is when we talk. So
Yep.
just join us every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central for the Paranormal Pride. And you guys all have a great night, and keep in your prayers everybody affected by Hurricane Helene and Milton, because a lot of people are still dealing with that and will be for a long time. Thank you and have a good night.
Love you guys.
All right.
Love you.